Real Kenz TV, live in the house like kitchen sinks. A couple people, a couple minutes to enter the premises, if you will. I'm trying to get my affairs in order and everything. Respectfully. We're gonna be doing a Q&A today. People hit me up in my email, my comments. They ask me questions. Real Kenz TV at Yahoo, or they ask me in my comments, and I try my best to get back with people. I ain't really been going live too much lately, but I'm gonna start to go live every Sunday at least. Give some people a chance to enter the building. I'll pull up my emails. I didn't announce it or anything like that. I just said, you know what? I'm gonna go live. Perhaps I'll start to announce going live in the future. Pull up my emails. Hope everybody's doing okay. The weather's beautiful in Kentucky today. It's close to 80 degrees. Has to be. I know it's mid 70s at the very, very least. Sipping a little beverage as I talk to you all. Whole lot going on, man. It's a whole lot of questions people ask me. So basically, I just kind of went through and picked out some. Perhaps people might be the most interested in or what have you. Like I said, if y'all ever have any questions, man, hit me up in my comments, or you can email me realkenztv at Yahoo. I try my best to answer all questions. See what I'm saying? Yeah, it's a whole lot going on, man. I mean, just in the media with just the trending topics. You know what I mean? I'm sure y'all know pretty much what the trending topics are. I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. Let's see. First question that I'm gonna answer is about P. Diddy. What do you think about the P. Diddy situation? Do you think P. Diddy will ever see the inside of a prison cell? I touched on this last time that I went live, but I'll answer it again. I don't think P. Diddy will ever see prison. That's just my personal opinion. What's up, Johnny? Shouts out to Wisconsin, man. I got people up in Milwaukee. So definitely shouts out, man. I've been there a couple times. Remember, it was real, real cold. I was in the winter. I went in the wintertime, and I was like, man, I don't know if I can come back here, man. It's a lovely city, but, ooh, it's cold. But I appreciate you chiming in. Welcome to the channel, what have you. But P. Diddy, I don't know, man. I don't know if he'll ever go to prison. What's up? Was that Santiago Perez? Salute. Said Hase Raynor. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. But definitely appreciate you all chiming in. Shouts out to Tennessee. What part of Tennessee you from? If I ever return to Milwaukee, hit you up. Hey, I need that. Let's see. Fried cheese curds. I never had them, but it sounds good. I'm going to have to call my cousins up and ask them exactly what it is. Never even heard of that, but it definitely sounds good. Baltimore, Maryland. Much love, man. Who's that? Kenny Ison. I appreciate you, man. I definitely appreciate you. Let's see. Cookeville. Okay, Cookeville, Tennessee. All right, that's what's happening. I've been to Tennessee a couple times, but I've never been to Cookeville. Sure, it's a lovely place. How's the weather, everybody? It's beautiful here. It's in the mid 70s. It's pretty beautiful. You know what I mean? Appreciate you too. Like I said, definitely appreciate you all chiming in. Shincel X. I'm from Dragon. Where's Dragon at? I'm not familiar. Is that real? Or is that, I don't know anything from that. or about that rather. Fried cheese, big beard fried cheese, watching Packers. Oh yeah, definitely. I'm a big NFL fan. I was a Cowboys fan, man, for a lot of years, but I'm so sick of Jerry Jones, so I don't know at this point. But I'm a big NFL fan. So anybody that follows me, watches my channel, man, they definitely know, man. NFL season, man, it's all day long. From fantasy football all day. I'm in 3 fantasy football leagues. I'm following the games all day long. Do a little friendly wagering, nothing too major. You know, it can kind of get you in trouble, but I'm definitely a big fan. I'm glad y'all interacting with me. This gives more people an opportunity to get into the building, so that way when I actually get to, answering the questions that people have, they won't miss too much. Dallas has some issues. I'm sorry, brother. Absolutely, Johnny. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm tired of Jerry Jones. He won't get out of the way and just allow the GMs to be GMs and run the team. He wants to run the team. And I understand that he owns the team, but goodness gracious, man, we ain't had a Super Bowl since the mid-90s? People want a Super Bowl in Dallas, man. We're not trying to keep going to the playoffs, winning one game, getting knocked out in the first round, and wait until next year. Nah, we need a Super Bowl, man. So I don't know. I'm conflicted. I might go back to being a Dallas fan, but I'm very disappointed. But I'm gonna go ahead and get into some of these questions. Like I was saying, someone asked me, if I think P. Diddy rather, would ever see the inside of a jail cell. I just don't see it happening. I don't see P. Diddy ever going to prison. Now, the reason I say this is that I think that they're going to find a reason to charge him with something. I believe that they're digging, and when the feds get involved, they're digging for a reason. So I don't think, a lot of people feel as though, oh man, they found something in his house. I don't think that they found anything in his house, for the simple fact, P. Diddy had months in advance to where anything that he could have had in his house, he got it out. He got some powerful lawyers, man. P. Diddy got those Jewish lawyers, and no disrespect whatsoever. It's the utmost praise and respect. But them guys are very powerful in New York. So think about it. When you dealing with a guy that's worth $1 billion or close to $1 billion, I'm quite sure that they said anything that you have that could be incriminating, whether it's cameras, whether it's electronic devices, pictures, letters, files on your computer, all of that stuff, get rid of. So while everybody's sitting around like, oh man, they raided P. Diddy's house, and they came out with boxes, and they're gonna bring some things out. But guess what? It doesn't mean that they're gonna actually find anything, on the items that they actually brought out of the house. I guarantee you, they didn't find anything. I will guarantee you that. He had too much time notice to get all of that stuff out of there. I don't know if P. Diddy will actually be charged, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does. But I never think he's not going to jail. I think he'll run before he goes to jail. P. Diddy's not going to prison. If he gets any inclination that them people are about to arrest him and take him to prison, man, he's gone. This guy's gone. He got private jets. He got Russell Simmons, a la Russell Simmons. When he thought that the people was coming after him, what did he do? He sold all his stocks. He sold all his assets, liquidated everything, moved to a country to where he can't be extradited. I see P. Diddy doing the exact same thing. That man is not getting ready to go to prison. And federal prison. R. Kelly's having a hard time in federal prison right now. It was a report that came out last week that, actually it was about 2 weeks ago. He was asleep in his cell, and a guy came in and attacked him. Now, he's lucky the dude didn't kill him. You're asleep in your cell, and a guy comes in and attacks you. Just think if he really wanted to make a name for himself, and he stabbed R. Kelly. What's the dude that killed George Floyd? Chauvin? Derek Chauvin, I believe is his name. Well, some months ago, he got stabbed like 22 times in prison. He was in the library. Mexican dude came in and stabbed him 22 times. And he's very fortunate to be alive, but at the same time, I don't even know if you call it fortunate, because that hit is going to happen again. A lot of people don't like him. People are trying to make a name. So you can look for not George, but Derek Chauvin, however you pronounce his name. He really don't deserve the respect of having his name pronounced correctly. You can look for him to be attacked again, and I don't know if he makes it through that 22-year, prison sentence. Mr. Walker, actually, you're right, man. You know what I'm saying? It was Amigo, man. He ran in on him and tried to do him in. Definitely tried to do him in. So P. Diddy's he's not going to try to deal with anything like that. And R. Kelly, I look for R. Kelly, even though they didn't ask me specifically about R. Kelly, but it kind of leads into that. I look for R. Kelly to give a lot of that time back. For you all that's never been to prison, you don't know what giving time back means. It just means a lot of the time that they gave him, he's going to win on appeal. So I look for him to get out in the next 4 or 5 years, probably 3 or 4 years, if I had to guess. They overcharged him. The sex trafficking thing, it was too much. Just charge him for messing with underage girls, which he shouldn't have been doing. And, give him 10, 12 years, whatever. But you all went for the gusto, and you won at trial. But he got some powerful lawyers behind him. Bill Cosby, it's alleged that Bill Cosby hired the lawyers that got him out of prison. Now they're R. Kelly's lawyers. So R. Kelly was out. And I think he's going to do a few more years. But all that time that they gave him, it'll never stick. 30 years in federal prison, that will never, ever, ever stick. Let's go to the next question that we got here, you all. I appreciate you chiming in. I'm trying to go over the questions, but at the same time, respond to your comments just as well. Why isn't nobody getting R. Kelly? Because he can sing? Well, I just discussed that. Somebody just attacked him a couple weeks ago. They didn't stab him up, but he was asleep in his cell, supposedly, allegedly, that's what the reports say. And they ran in his cell and beat him up or whatever, touched him up a little bit, but nobody stabbed him. But you never know. It could potentially happen. Anything can happen. That's the danger with prison. Anything can happen in prison. And this leads me to my next question, since we're talking about prison. Somebody hit me up and said that he heard a story in which somebody got stabbed 47 times in prison over a ramen noodle. A ramen noodle. The kind that you can buy out here on the streets. They were $6 for $1, but everything's going up now. So it's probably about $6 for, I don't know, $1.50 now. But you get the gist of what I'm saying, a ramen noodle. Stabbed 47 times and killed over a ramen noodle in prison. Real Kenz. Is that realistic? Do you believe that? Does that really go down in prison? Man, you bet your bottom dollar it goes down in prison. You bet your bottom dollar. Now, the average person would say, okay, let's see, Bob Smith, did you say you want R. Kelly to get out, or are you just saying how the system works? Just got in here. No, I didn't say I want R. Kelly to get out. What I said was R. Kelly was overcharged by the sex trafficking and all of those things. So, no, he definitely deserves to get some time. But the 30 years that they gave him for sex trafficking, it'll never stick. He has Bill Cosby's former lawyers, very powerful lawyers, and they overcharged him. They should have just got him for dealing with the underage girls, gave him his 10, 12, 15 years that he probably should have gotten. But they took him to trial, convicted him of sex trafficking, and he's ultimately going to beat those charges. So you can expect R. Kelly to come home probably within the next 3, 4, 5 years. That's actually what I said, respectfully, Bob. But see, the thing about prison is this: it's a very, very, very violent place. So when the average person looks at it and they say, "Oh man, I find it very difficult to believe that somebody stabbed somebody over a ramen noodle, a 50-cent ramen noodle in prison," because that's about what they are, 40, 50 cents in prison, 47 times. The thing about it, it's not even about the ramen noodle. It's just about respect. You see, respect in prison is very, very key. Now, I don't advise anybody stabbing anybody in or out of prison. Because when you're in prison, the ultimate goal is to come home. But then you got some guys in there that's never coming home. You got some guys that got 40 and 50 years, and in federal prison, you do 85% of your time. It's not like the state. See, in the state, different states have different rules. But like in Kentucky, no matter how much time you get, unless you have life without parole, the possibility of parole, you're going to go up for parole after 20 years. Even if you get 60 years, 70 years, after 20 years, they have to take you up for parole. But that's just in Kentucky. Different states have different rules. But in the feds, you're doing 85% of your time. So if somebody's sitting in the feds and they just wake up in a bad mood one day, get a bad letter, get a bad phone call, they can't reach that girl over the phone, whatever the scenario may be, guess what? They may just decide to do you in. And like, in the infamous words of Big Hurt, might split your wig and they might kill you. So when I hear that someone was stabbed 47 times over a ramen noodle, yeah, because when you owe somebody something in prison, guess what? They want what's coming to them. People in prison is not playing with a full deck. Some people, you got some very intelligent people in prison, but you got some people in prison that, they sandwich short of a picnic, to say the least. So they want theirs. You owe them a noodle, guess what? You don't give it to them, they're going to kill you. So yeah, that's definitely realistic. I've never personally seen anything like that. I've seen some people get beat down. I've seen some people, get hurt pretty bad. I've never seen anybody get killed. I've never, anything like that. But it definitely goes down. It just depends on where you are and who you're dealing with. You got these federal prisons and, maximum securities, medium. Man, it's not a joke. You all Google, if you're into prisons, which I don't know why anybody would, but a lot of people like to talk about prison and the topic of prison. Google Big Sandy. That's in Kentucky. Google Big Sandy. At one point, it was the #1 violent prison. Somebody was dying every day at Big Sandy in Kentucky. Look it up. But yeah, stay out of prison, man. That's not no place you want to go. Like I said, 47 times. Now, it was a little overkill to stab somebody 47 times. Stab somebody one time is overkill, but 47 times over a noodle. But hey, it's the type of stuff that happens in prison, man. You're not dealing with normal thinking people. Put people in a cage, you lock them up, they're not seeing their family, they can't get on the phone and call anybody, nobody's sending them money, they're seeing everybody else go on visit and eat well and buy a commissary, and you sitting there with nothing. Hey, those things happen, those things definitely happen. Let's see, Captain Obvious, they got the prison known for, I'm not sure exactly what you're saying. I heard that they would break you off for messing with minors, lawyer or not. Yeah, they will. They definitely will. They call them in prison chomos. They definitely do not respect chomos. But see, once again, in the state of Kentucky, they protect the chomos. It's a hate crime if you do something to them. Now, you got some people in prison, they don't care anything about a hate crime. So if they have an opportunity to get to you and do something to you, guess what? They're going to do it. So, it's a dangerous situation, man. For real. It's best to, stay out of prison. But yeah, they do not respect if you've been messing with underage girls. Now, sometimes you might get a pass because there's situations to where you didn't know that she was underage. And it was in your best interest to take the plea deal, because if you went to trial, you might get a life sentence or a hefty prison sentence. So, sometimes you might get a pass, but like when you blatantly knew, or you've been messing with kids, especially kids, man, they do not play that whatsoever, man. Definitely kids, man. Y'all be sure to hit that like button for me too, man. If it's not too much trouble to ask, that like button for me. Let's see. And if you get a jury trial, only 8 of the 12 jurors have to say guilty. I'm not sure what state that's in, but potentially it could be. I know that jury trials typically it just takes one to get a hung jury, but different states have different laws and rules or what have you. Master P, his brother, C Murder, I'm not sure if y'all familiar with him, but he's trying to get a new trial now based on the fact that when he went to trial, 2 jurors said that he wasn't guilty, 10 said that he was, and they went ahead and convicted him anyway. And so they came back and changed the rule and said that if 2 jurors said that you weren't guilty, it would be considered a hung jury. So they have to give you another trial, or they have the option of not charging you again. But what happened with C Murder was they didn't make that law retro. Retro meaning they didn't take it all the way back to the people that was convicted of that law before they changed the law. So it was like, okay, from this date going forward. So it's like 1,500 people that would potentially get out of prison if they change that law. So yeah, different states, different rules. Next question that we got here. Let's see. Once again, man, y'all hit that like button for me. I appreciate you chiming in. How do you feel about Jay Williams? I'm gonna talk about Jay Williams, actually. I'm gonna talk about Jay Williams. Let's live life. But I'm gonna answer that question a little later. But I do want to talk about Jay Williams just a little later. Let me see. Dr. Dre recently went on a podcast and said Eminem is the best rapper ever. How do you feel about that? Eminem, the best rapper ever? Yeah, I definitely can see. I don't know if he's the best rapper ever. He's definitely one of them. But I could definitely see how a person would think that he's the best rapper ever and feel as though he's the best rapper ever. If not Eminem, who? This is another thing I touched on in my last laugh. If not Eminem, who? You know, a lot of people, man, they hate on Eminem. You know, the obvious reason, he's white. But I don't think it's just so much that he's white, but I think that plays a key role. But the thing about him is this. This is the thing about Eminem. He doesn't speak all the things that these so-called gangster rappers and street rappers talk about. You see what I'm saying? So they feel as though he doesn't talk about the same thing as far as murdering, killing, selling dope. But essentially, he does talk about the same thing. It's just in a different form. He came up poor in a trailer park with absolutely nothing. And that's not to say that everybody lives in a trailer park is poor. But in this particular situation in 8 Mile, from what I understand, he grew up poor, man. He grew up with nothing. He grew up, you know, had a daughter very young. He was in the struggle. And he just wasn't out there robbing and shooting and killing people. He just believed in his dream and he kept going. But you can't discredit Eminem. You know, you got guys like Lil Boosie and even Snoop said it. And I was very disappointed in Snoop. I was very, very disappointed in Snoop for saying that Eminem, man, we just never listened to him in our hood. We never, you know, we just didn't get into him like that. Okay, cool. If you didn't really listen to him, Terry Brown, what's up, boy? Appreciate you chiming in, man. I definitely do. Salute to you, man. But discussing the whole Eminem situation, Dr. Dre just recently said that Eminem was the best rapper ever. I don't know if I necessarily agree, but I don't disagree. So it's kind of like an oxymoron. You know what I mean? But I definitely could see how a person would think that. Eminem's fire, man. If anybody has a problem with Eminem, guess what? Jump in a cypher with him. That's the same thing I said on my last live video. If you think that Eminem is so soft, if you think that, you know, he can't really flow like that, simply jump in a cypher with him. And lyrically, he's gonna murder you. Lyrically, he's gonna murder you. Anybody. I don't care who it is. Now, I like to see him and Lil Wayne go bar for bar, back and forth. You know, you got some guys, J. Cole, you got Kendrick Lamar, you got, you know, you obviously, you got Nas, Jay-Z, but they the older ones, the obvious ones, Jadakiss. But Eminem, man, I can definitely see how people would say that he's definitely top 5 and maybe even number 1. I mean, lyrically, man, what can you do with him? What can you do with him? Just like the scene from 8 Mile, when he was going up against dude, and he threw him the microphone at the end and said, "Now tell the people something that they don't already know about me." Man, that was so real. That was just like it was a real scene. You know, I imagine and I envision him really doing that in real life. So, yeah, I definitely think Eminem's up there. But like I said, I see you, Captain Kendrick. Yeah, you know, Kendrick's cold, too. As I mentioned, there's a lot of rappers. I'm not going to say a lot, but there's a handful of rappers that you could give that title to. But I do get tired of people hating on Eminem. And I'm going to tell you another thing that I love about Eminem. If you go at him, he's coming back at you. Pause. Double pause. If you're not sure what pause means, then Urban Dictionary, go look it up. Eminem's going to come right back at you. It don't matter if you game. The game ain't had a hit in years. He gets to talking crazy about Eminem. Guess what? I'm going to come back at you. Machine Gun Kelly. Benzino. It don't even matter. If you come at me lyrically, guess what? I'm coming for you. So I respect that, man, because that's the true essence of hip hop. Hip hop is it's supposed to be competitive. It's just not supposed to spill over into the streets. You see what I'm saying? If I have a problem with you lyrically, then we battle that. We have a battle on wax. But it's not supposed to spill over into the streets. And anybody that's saying anything about Eminem at this point, he's jumping on wax and he's murdering them. Even at 40-something now. It don't even matter. So yeah, I definitely feel that Eminem could potentially be the coldest MC ever. And if not, tell me who. Show me who. Show me one rapper that murdered Jay-Z on his own track. Now, I know Nas said it first on that Ether, but he killed Jay-Z. I listen to that all the time. He killed Jay-Z on his own track. You're not familiar with what I'm talking about? I'm referring to Renegade. It was on Jay-Z's Blueprint album, the first Blueprint. Go listen to that Renegade. Killed Jay-Z on his own track, man. Respectfully. Let's see. Next question. Like I said, man, y'all can always hit me up in my comments or my email, realkenztv@yahoo. I'm going to answer as many questions I can possibly answer. For some reason, people not getting my notifications, so I'm dropping videos all the time, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on with my views. I don't know. So only thing I can say is continue to hit that like button whenever you see me on here live, and just check my channel. I'm posting pretty much every day. I'm posting videos on a regular basis. I don't know why people's not getting the notifications, but we just gonna keep posting, and we definitely gonna figure it out, man. Let's see. It definitely was, Bob, at 8 Mile. And really, you know what? I'm kind of disappointed that Eminem didn't continue his acting career, because the guy can legitimately act. And I don't understand why, but maybe, they said he likes to stay in the house. He's made so much money and he likes to be with his kids. So maybe, he doesn't really want to be in the limelight like that, being that he was in the limelight so much at one point. But Eminem, man, fire. Talented all the way around the board. Let's see. What do I think about the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight? You know what? I'm not even going to sugarcoat that, man. I like Jake Paul. Got a lot of respect for him. He's a household name, him and along with his brother Logan. I think that much love to you too, Captain. Appreciate you, man. But I think that Jake Paul fighting Mike Tyson, they're saying all the right things because they have to promote a fight. You see what I'm saying? So they're going to pretend not to like each other, even though Jake is showing genuine respect for Mike. Even with the 30-year difference, in my opinion, this is my opinion, he don't have anything coming, man. Because Mike Tyson knows way more than Jake Paul even has learned in the boxing game. He's forgotten, rather, more than what Jake Paul will ever learn, because he's starting at such a young age. Jake Paul, he's gonna mess around and get himself hurt. But I respect the man because he's willing to, risk it all. But Mike Tyson, I just recently heard somebody talking about, I can't remember if it was Roy Jones, but somebody was talking about when Mike Tyson gets to hitting Jake Paul with those body blows. That's something that he's never experienced before. That's something that he's never felt before. He's not fighting Nate Robinson. He's not fighting former NFL players or basketball players or, UFC fighters or whatever. Like, he's fighting a guy that's really going to come straight ahead. And Tyson is bobbing and weaving when he comes straight ahead. So I don't understand how Jake Paul's really going to have an opportunity to connect. And as he's coming straight ahead, he's throwing. And when he's throwing the body shots. Then your hands drop a little bit. And then, as soon as you open your hands up, Tyson's coming with the uppercut. Like, his style's never really changed. He's just older now. So, no, I don't even think that it's going to be close. I don't think that Mike Tyson's going to try to hold him up, because he knows Jake Paul's coming for him. He knows that Jake Paul's coming to try to knock him out. So if I'm in a fight and I know, okay, this is supposed to be an exhibition for the people, but at the same time, I know that this guy's really, really coming for me. Well, guess what? I don't have no time to be sitting in there playing with you, because I know that you have power, and I understand that. Sorry, I dropped something. This thing about going live ain't no editing, which I don't edit anyway. But I know that you coming for me. I got to get you out of there as soon as I possibly can. So I look for it to be a pretty short fight. I'm not going to necessarily say Tyson's going to knock him out in the first round, but you just never know. He might hold him up, for a round or two or whatever, give the fans, but it's not going to be close. When he fought Roy Jones a few years ago, that was more of a entertainment type of ordeal. I don't think Tyson was really trying to knock Roy Jones out then. And Roy Jones is very tactical in the ring, even in his 50s. Roy Jones knows way, way, way more, and he did a whole lot of holding. And so Jake Paul's not going to really know those angles that Mike Tyson's punches are coming from. His defense is not going to really, I just don't see it happening. That's just my opinion. Anything can happen, but I don't even see that even remotely being close. Let's see. Real Kenz, another prison. Well, I am a prison channel primarily, so I guess I'm going to get prison questions. How do you feel about private prisons? Do you think that they should all be shut down? Yes, I do. I do think that private prisons should be shut down. Why do you need private prisons? The United States incarcerates more people than any other country. Why? Because they have private prisons. See, when you have a private prison, guess what? You have beds. Beds need to be filled. Only way beds are going to be filled is what? You lock people up. When you're locking people up, I believe everybody's palms are being greased, if you will. Certain judges, certain prosecutors, it's like a game. It's a system. So they're locking people up now, man, for like anything. So you have people say, well, if you don't break the law, then you won't have to worry about that. And that is true. But that doesn't mean that just because you go into Walmart and you steal at retail $500 worth of stuff, which you shouldn't do. You definitely shouldn't do that. But I'm just using this as an example. You steal $500 worth of stuff. That's retail cost. They probably got the stuff for, I don't know, $200. It's been marked up to $500. Probably less than that, actually. But you get what I'm trying to say. You go in there and you steal, and then you come out. So now you're facing 1 to 5 years. Facing 1 to 5 years in prison. Okay. If that's your first time, you're only facing 1 to 5 years. But if you have a prior, now you might be facing 5 to 10. And if you have 2 priors, you might be facing 10 to 20. So I don't really get, I get it, because you have to keep people locked up, and it is a business. It definitely is a business. Johnny says don't steal. Absolutely, you shouldn't steal. I'm not advocating for you to go out here and steal, but what I'm saying is, if you go and you steal something, does that mean that you deserve 20 years in prison? Does that mean you deserve 10 years in prison? You can't give me a year in the county jail. You know how treacherous it is to do a year in the county jail? And every time I get caught stealing, guess what? Not me literally, but I'm just figuratively speaking. I do a year in the county jail. That's just the way that, I think that would teach a person just as well. But you sending people to prison for 5 and 10 years for child support, you definitely should take care of your kids. But child support, petty theft, credit cards, checks, things that are non-violent. See, the habitual offender, which was originally called a truthful sentence. It's called truthful sentencing. Excuse me. And basically what that is a sentence enhancement. So you may get 5 years for this charge, but then they're going to say, okay, because you have a prior, you have a history, tack on another 7 years just based on his history. So now you end up with a 12-year sentence over something that you probably shouldn't have received no more than a year from. They have the space, they have the beds to put you in. Why? Because now they allow private prisons. If you didn't have private prisons, a lot of these people that are incarcerated, they wouldn't be incarcerated. A lot of people that have these jobs that they're creating in the prison systems, COs, wardens, jailers, just all the people that prisons employ. If you get rid of private prisons, these people wouldn't have jobs. So it's definitely a business. I always talk about it. I know I sound like a broken record when I talk about it. Private prisons, locking people up, is literally a business. It's a business to lock people up. No joke. That's not to say, you shouldn't do the right thing. You should do the right thing. But if I go out here and I run a red light, do I deserve 6 months in the county jail? Now, it's not, I'm over exaggerating when it comes to that, but you take a person for child support. I've seen it. Child support, you face 1 to 5 in the state of Kentucky. Seen a dude, he wanted to go to trial. His lawyer basically begged him not to go to trial. He wanted to go to trial. He felt as though he could explain to the jury. He didn't understand that your explanation, even though they may feel and understand what you're saying, at the end of the day, the law is the law. He goes to trial. They give him a year. Cool. They give him a year. What he didn't understand was there's a second part of a trial when you go to trial. It's called the sentencing phase. So once you go to the sentencing phase, the jury learns of your entire record. Prosecution says, okay, he's been convicted of 1 prior felony. In this particular case, the guy had been convicted of 2 prior felonies. So even though the jury only recommended a year for child support, because they were able to show that he was more than $1,000 behind for child support. Once the jury seen that he had 2 prior charges, they enhanced his sentence from a year to 10 years. So he goes to prison with a 10-year prison sentence for child support. Now, he's really not going to be able to pay his child support. Now, I don't agree with not paying your child support, but I also don't agree for throwing somebody in prison for 10 years. And he went to prison and he got a 10-year sentence and he ended up doing like 3.5 years on child support. Now, tell me if you think that's right. I don't know. Some of you do. Some people think that they're like holier than thou and they don't ever make mistakes and I don't know. Very, very judgmental. But hey, private prisons definitely need to be abolished. Let's see. Real Kenz, how you feel about Fleece Johnson? Have you ever met him? I know that he's from the same state. Have you all ever met or talked? No, I've never talked to Fleece Johnson, but I've talked about him. I've done several videos on my channel. If you're not familiar with my longer content, just go to my channel, man. I got a plethora of videos. I don't agree with the things that Fleece Johnson was doing in prison, but who am I to judge anybody? I'm not judging him. I don't agree with the things that he's doing, but I definitely think that he was the real deal. I was a little skeptical when Hustler Spirit 502, that's the name of their channel, Hustler Spirit 502, featuring Fleece Johnson and Big Lee. When the stories first started coming out in the interviews and I was watching them, I was a little skeptical. I was a little skeptical to believe some of the things, but as I continue to do my research and then I've talked to different people in the, prison sitting, the Kentucky Department of Corrections prison system, I got to talking to people and it was like, nah, Fleece Johnson, he was really that guy. Y'all hit that like button for me, man, if you don't mind. They say Fleece Johnson, everything he talks about, when he says documented, is the truth. The man was actually breaking out of handcuffs. The man was breaking people's jaws. The man was fighting COs, throwing feces on people, hot water on people, COs, and just, it's like, wow, he was really, really like that. So, again, I don't agree with what he was doing, but he seems like he's turned the corner and he's changed his life. Has a book coming out next month, I think mid-May, and I'm anxious to get that book because I really want to know more about some of the things that he dealt with. You got to understand, this man did 40 years flat. 40 years in prison, man. That's a long time. If you do 3 or 4 years in prison, that's a long time. 1 year is a long time. Now you got to understand where he did it at. In the state of Kentucky, Eddyville, Kentucky State Penitentiary. That's where death row is located at. And in the 70s and 80s and 90s, Fleece said that 80% of the people on the yard were gay. I don't know if those numbers were accurate, but that's what he said. He said, it was a whole lot of that activity going on. And, I don't know. But I know that it was a very, very, very rough yard. And it was, dog eat dog. Lions, tigers, and bears. And Fleece Johnson, they sent him in 16, 17 years old as a kid in an adult prison. And for him to come through that, make it through that, and come out and change his life, and he seems to be doing pretty well now, hey, salute to him, man. Shouts out to Fleece Johnson, Big Lee, Hustle Spirit 502. I have been in touch with Big Lee. Eventually, we're going to get together, and you all can probably look for me to be interviewing Fleece Johnson at some point. Um, but I don't want to rush anything. I don't want to try to make anything, you know, when it's supposed to happen, it'll happen. I know right now he's not really doing the interviews because he's waiting on his book to come out. So everything that he's doing, he's pretty much doing like promotional. So, you know, trying to get his book out there. But so again, no, I've never met Fleece Johnson. I've talked to his manager a few times, and yeah, I definitely think that, you know, we'll eventually work together. Real Ken, have you spoken to Jay Williams? If so, how is he? Why haven't we heard anything from him? And I haven't spoken with Jay Williams. I know 2 weeks ago, or tomorrow actually, it'll be 2 weeks. You know, he went to court for final sentencing, turned himself in, and you know, he got sentenced to a year, and he has to do about 7 months on that year, as he told you all. Haven't spoken to him directly yet. Probably going to reach out to him. There's an app that you can reach him on. But I haven't spoken to him. I would imagine that he's just now starting to get acclimated back into jail, back into the system. See, when you haven't been in jail in a long, long time, your first probably couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, it's kind of like you in a trance phase. You know, you're just like, you can't really believe that you're there. But as time goes on, you start to adjust, and it's just like, okay, I'm here. I don't want to be here, but I am here, so let me make the best of it, if you will, if it makes any sort of sense. Let me try to figure things out and, you know, get back home to my family. So I just imagine that, you know, first few days he probably didn't eat much, probably slept a lot, because the days leading up to prison or to jail, he probably wasn't sleeping much. So, you know, I feel for him, but man, you know, 7 months has already been 2 weeks. It's already been 2 weeks, so that time's gonna go past. They give him some time to reflect, some time to work on himself. I know that he said that he was gonna get work release. Hopefully he does get the work release. The judge, you know, put in the order for him to get it. But once he's actually in the Department of Corrections, the judge loses all jurisdiction. It's only a recommendation that he gets it, so I don't know. He should get it. Hopefully he gets, he can, you know, he has a job lined up. He can get out, and I think he said he would be working from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. 6 days a week. So hopefully he gets out. He's able to, you know, get a job. Well, he already has a job lined up, and, you know, continue to support his family. You haven't seen any videos from him. One thing I learned about Jay Williams, man, he's very, very strategic, man. Far from a dummy. Far from a dummy. I'm talking about, man, I've spent hours on the phone with him, man. And we just talk like, it's crazy, because I find myself, like, when I'm talking to him, it's just like I'm listening to a story. It's like I'm watching him online, you know, because same tone, same everything. His stories don't waver. Like, everything that he's ever told me is exactly the same. You know what I mean? So I knew about the work release situation before he announced it, but I'm not going to come online and say anything, because he wasn't for sure if he was going to get it. He was trying to get it, but he didn't know if the people were going to actually grant him the work release. So hopefully, you know, within the next, I don't know, few days, week, 2 weeks, you know, the Department of Corrections, they move on at the, how you say it, the beat of their own drum. You know, they move when they want to move. So when they get the paperwork and get everything approved and signed or whatever, then hopefully he'll be out and, you know, be able to be out into the community. Worst case scenario, in November, he'll be home for Thanksgiving. He's back with his son, his little daughter Bella, his wife, his older son. So yeah, that's what I know. But I'm definitely gonna reach out to him. I actually was on the app today, and I was trying to figure out how to call, because you can video call, but you know, when it's supposed to happen, it'll definitely happen. See, what do you think about Vlad TV? Why is he always hating on Shannon Sharp and people that are successful? You know, Vlad's a hater, man. You know, and I watch, it's crazy because I watch Vlad TV. But Vlad, I got you, Terry. I'm going to answer that as soon as I finish this. I'm going to talk about that too. Terry Brown asked me, how do you feel about Arkansas getting Coach Cal? University of Kentucky coach, went to Arkansas. But Vlad TV is a hater, man. It's like he's the only one that wants to be successful. Now, Vlad, I've had a problem with Vlad TV since I learned that he didn't want to allow Fleece Johnson to come onto his show because he said, "Oh, well, my integrity. I know that I would get millions of views, but my integrity wouldn't allow that." Oh, that's interesting because your integrity allowed you to have former mobsters on there. Your integrity allowed you to have former gangbangers on there, current gangbangers, former killers, probably current killers. Your integrity allowed you to have all of these things. But then when it comes to Fleece Johnson, now your integrity stands in the way and he can't get on your show. The man's manager already told you, listen, man, we want to get on here and tell our side. I know what you all seen on MSNBC, Lockup Raw, whatever it was called. I know what you seen. If I want you, I got to have you. I understand that. I understand that. But Fleece told a story and he basically talked about how they intrigued or enticed him to say these things because it was a scare straight program. And so they wanted him to say the worst possible things to keep the kids out of prison. He said, I ain't never think I was getting out of prison anyway. So, yeah, I got on there and I said some of the things that I said. And some of the things that Fleece said, man, was very, very questionable. Like when he told the interview, he said, y'all had came here a few years ago, I probably would have grabbed your butt, and dared you to say something. Now, when you're saying stuff like that, Fleece, you don't really make a good, strong, case for what you're trying to say as far as, nah, man, I didn't mean it like that. When people are looking, saying, I don't know, Fleece, you said this. But at the same time, I understand he probably, I don't know, they're using his likeness on the Boondocks. I don't know. I mean, I don't know about that whole situation, man, but it's definitely crazy. And Vlad, man, should be ashamed of himself. But see, Vlad, man, he's really feeling himself at this point. Vlad feels as though, man, I'm successful. I'm worth 25, 30 million. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Obviously, what I'm doing is right. He got like 6 million, close to 6 million subscribers. So, hey, shouts out to Vlad. But at the same time, I watch his channel, but I don't agree with a lot of the things that he's doing. You hating on Shannon Sharp because Shannon Sharp, nobody has ever had 66 million views like that before. And if they have, it definitely wasn't him. And he's using every excuse in the book why Shannon Sharp got these views. And he's just hating. He's a hater. Vlad is a straight hater, man. Vlad TV is a hater. And that's my opinion of it. But Terry Brown asked me how you feel about Arkansas, getting Coach Cal, former University of Kentucky basketball coach. Man, every coach here that don't win, they run them out. Even if you have one, if you're not in the running constantly every year, they're going to run you out, man. And from what I'm hearing is Coach Cal had been trying to leave the University of Kentucky. He just, I guess, the right opportunity. I know UCLA a few years ago, reportedly he wanted to go to Ohio State. Arkansas, I guess, he had some connections there, some people he knew or what have you. Man, they was putting signs in the man's yard and toilet paper in, his house. And man, they just ran him out, man. He probably just got tired of it, man. But I think that, I don't know. I really don't know what to say because they're not going to get the top recruits like Kentucky was getting. But I think that he can coach. I think that he can definitely coach. I mean, heck, you don't get in this position not being able to coach. So it's going to be very, very interesting. And to be perfectly honest, I hope when they come down here to Kentucky next year, I hope they bust their ass. I hope Arkansas busts Kentucky's ass for the simple fact that these fans here are very, very overzealous, man. And there's no sort of patience whatsoever. They got to win. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about the Coach Cal situation. And it's going to be very, very interesting. TB, Terry Brown, you know what I mean? And I'm going to be watching very, very close. Let's see. Valiant Throw. I can't really pronounce your name. I feel bad for Cheek Mills, Pastor Jakes, and Will Smith. They all got their wigs split and cheeks busted. Oh, man. Their cheeks looking like the Grand Canyon. I don't know. I don't know anything. I've heard about that. Cheek Mills. That's funny. I don't believe it about Meek Mills. I really don't. Not to say that I believe that about Will Smith or TD Jakes, but I think Meek Mills just got caught up, rolling with Diddy. I don't think Meek Mill was rolling that way. And I'm not even a big Meek. I like Meek Mill, but I'm not a big Meek Mill fan. And even if I was, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. I'm not gonna just be like, oh no, because that's my favorite rapper. But no, I don't feel like Meek Mill was swinging that way. Let's see, Terry Brown, Walmart, and Tyson money. Arkansas. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. You know what I'm saying? Now I know Arkansas got that at Walmart money. I definitely, have heard that, man. But only time will tell, man. I actually, wish you all. I actually wish you all the best, man. You see what I'm saying? I used to like Arkansas back in the day, man. When they had Corliss Williamson and Scotty, what was it? Scotty Thurman. What was it 40 minutes of hell? You know what I'm saying? Nolan Richardson. Like I go all the way back. I used to be a real big basketball fan back in the day. I just don't really like it as much now because it's too much politics and NIL deals and all that stuff. I'm glad the players are getting paid, but I don't really follow college basketball like that. I appreciate you, man. You do the same, man. Definitely check me out, Valiant Thor. Definitely check me out, man. I'm always dropping videos. May not get the notifications for whatever reason, but check me out, man. Are you familiar with? I've seen you do videos on Master P. Are you familiar with your son, Mercy Miller, and why don't you think he gets the respect like a Bronny James was getting? Yeah, I'm very familiar with Master P's son, Mercy Miller. He has two sons. He has Mercy Miller and I believe Versey Miller, Hersey Miller. Hersey Miller played at Louisville, and he didn't really get in that much. I don't know really what was going on with that, but I'm very familiar with Mercy Miller. He's headed to the University of Houston next year. I think that kid's a star. I think that kid's going to the NBA. Give him a year, maybe 2 years at Houston. And I think he's going to be in the league, man. He's about 6'4". He can handle the ball. He can shoot the lights out. Very, very humble, coachable. Good feet, good defense. Works hard. Constantly in the gym, working on his shot. Go left, go right. Finishes well at the basket. I like his mid-range shot. Can stop at the drop of a dime. Pull up. I like Mercy Miller. Definitely think that he's going to end up in the league. Like I said, give him about 2 years at Houston. Let him get it. He's going to play a lot next year. If he don't start, he's going to play a lot next year. And I like his commitment. He committed to Houston a couple years ago, and he never wavered from that. Houston's where I want to go. And Houston, they was the number one team earlier this year, man. So they are very, very, they may not have the notoriety as far as like the Dukes, the Carolinas, the Kentuckys, and all that's a name. All that's just a name. All the big name schools are not the ones winning the titles. You got your UConns, you got, so I definitely, I follow Mercy Miller, and I look for him to definitely do big things. See, Bronny James, and he's a kid, so I'm careful with what I say and how I say it, but they're pushing him because he's LeBron's son. He's not that good, man. He's not that good. He's good, but he's not that good, the way that they're making him. He never should have been a McDonald's All-American last year, but his name is Bronny James. Now they're saying that he's going to the draft. He's going to get drafted solely based on the fact that who his dad is. So, hey, if it works for you, if you're proud of that, then, make it work for you. But P's son definitely should have been in that McDonald's All-American game this year, and he didn't. He made it to the Iverson Classic. I'm not sure about the Jordan Classic, but he made it to the Iverson Classic, and I feel as though him being slighted is going to fuel his fire, and he's definitely going to end up in the league, in my opinion. Terry Brown says, I'm a Carolina fan. Arkansas fans hate me. My daughter's a freshman. Okay. So your daughter's a freshman at Arkansas or a freshman at Carolina? I'm thinking that you're speaking about Arkansas. But Arkansas, not Arkansas, but Carolina, great program, obviously. It's a historic program, Dean Smith. But I don't know, man. You're just not an Arkansas fan. Like, I can see why people hate you, because there's a lot of people here from Kentucky can't stand UK, and people are not feeling that whatsoever. Let's see. Got a couple more questions I'm going to take here. Real Kenz, did you hear about one of the twins being killed when a man approached her? Actually, I don't even have to finish reading the question. Yeah. Basically, what happened was, I believe it was in New York. I don't remember what part of New York. It was the twins. They were in a restaurant, and a guy approached one of them. She wasn't interested. Politely told him, I have a boyfriend or whatever. So the guy was persistent. Continued to, get aggressive with her. Now just imagine. So just imagine this, Terry. I want you to imagine this for me. And I only say that because you just said your daughter goes to Arkansas. Definitely big shouts out to you and big shouts out to her, man. That's a beautiful thing. My daughter graduated from my Western Kentucky University a few years ago. So that's a beautiful thing. But just imagine a situation where I'm talking about, where dude's trying to holler at one of the twin girls. He's getting aggressive because she doesn't want to give her number. So the other twin comes over and is like, it's my sister, man. Leave her alone. She's not interested. And the dude pulls out a knife and stabs her, kills her. Pulls out a knife and kills one of the twins because the girl that he was trying to holler at, the one that he was trying to holler at, she politely turned him down, kills her, and starts to beat on the other one. Like, what is the world coming to? There's cameras everywhere. Even if it wasn't cameras everywhere, you still shouldn't do anything like that. What is the world coming to? And it's crazy because I hear women all the time talking about how dangerous it is, even when a guy approaches them. Now, obviously, every guy's not with that. Every guy's not, doesn't act that way. But you have these guys that can't. No is like, it's not in their vocabulary. They don't want to hear no. So when you tell them no, it's like, what? They feel insulted. So now they get aggressive. They get, they get dangerous. They get, and it's just like, what is wrong with people, man? You killed that little girl, man. She was a teenage twin. You killed her because you was trying to get her phone number, and she politely turned you down. I don't care if she rudely turned you down. And you took out a knife and killed her. People's really, really fighting some real, real demons out here. That's the only thing I can think of. You pulled out a knife. You didn't just, you should have, okay, thank you, and walked off. You pulled a knife out and killed her because she turned you down for a phone number. Essentially in broad daylight. If you're in a restaurant, there's cameras everywhere, it's light. I don't know what time of day it was. So even if it was at night, it's essentially in broad daylight, man. Man, dudes out there, men out there with daughters, man. I ain't gonna lie, my daughter goes to the gun range all the time, man. She's legal. She has a permit. I tell her, listen, man, this is only for your protection. This is only for, worst case scenario. What? That's crazy, man. That's crazy, man. I don't know, man. It's very, very sad. It's very sad. I played football and baseball at Arkansas Tech back in the late 90s. I'm worried about my daughter. It's crazy days. Yeah. Only thing you can do is tell them and teach them and pray, man. Pray. Because even I tell my daughter, like, okay, she's 25 now, but even if you shoot somebody and you not trying to shoot anybody, it's your last resort. We're in a Commonwealth state, man. They still gonna somehow, I'm not gonna say somehow, but possibly find a reason to say that what you did was unjust and come and arrest you. Now you got to go through the whole process, so it's just really, really crazy. You try to stay out the way, but now you can't go nowhere, man. They was in line to get something to eat. to get something to eat, man. So it's definitely a sad situation, man. So I'd advise, man, any guys out there, man, and got them daughters out there, man. Teach them to protect themselves. Let them know that this is last resort, you know. But hey, you got to protect yourself, man. Let's see. What other questions we got? Did you hear about? Now, some of these questions, the reason that I know the answers to a lot of these questions is simply because I've already gone over them. So I'm able to kind of pinpoint the questions that, that I can't answer. But I was asked about up in Indiana, Hollywood Casino, guy robs the casino and takes somebody hostage. Did you hear about this situation? It was later captured a couple hours later with the drone in the woods. Yeah, I did hear about that. I've been to that casino several times. Let me tell you about a casino, man, or people that frequent the casino. The casino will take every dime that you have. I don't advise anybody to gamble. That's what ultimately sent me to prison, man. I wasn't no trouble kid, man. I didn't grow up like with money. I didn't grow up in a middle class neighborhood or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I played sports. I never got into trouble as a youth. It wasn't until late on in my life I started going to the casino. I won a lot of money, and that lifestyle just stuck with me. I was addicted to the lifestyle. So think about a casino, they will take every dime you got. They don't care nothing about your mortgage, your rent, your kids, food in the refrigerator, none of that stuff. They look at it as though we didn't make you come in here, but you didn't make people come in here, but you advertise it's money. You can come in here and you can win this. And then they say, use this as entertainment purposes only. 1-800-GAMBLER if you have a problem. They want you to come in there and they want to take all your money. And what I would imagine, now this is just me speculating, but what I would imagine about this individual that robbed somebody or tried to rob the casino and took somebody hostage, he probably lost every dime that he's ever had at that casino. Every dime that he's probably ever had, just lost it. I told a story on my channel, and y'all go check it out, man. I tell a story on my channel about a guy that about 2 years ago, roughly, I don't even remember, it was roughly 2 years ago, give or take, a few months in between or what have you. He just couldn't take it anymore. Lost all his money at the casino. Got to the parking garage. Went to the top of the parking garage. Y'all can Google this. Hollywood Casino. Man dives off the top of the parking garage. Instantly. Dead. DOA. Dead. Couldn't take it no more. Gambling is one of the worst things you can ever do. You don't want to use drugs. You don't want to drink excessive alcohol. You don't want to, any addiction is not good. But gambling it's a terrible addiction. And so I'm imagining that this guy that just went in and robbed the casino was just willing to risk it all. It was probably that or do something to himself, man. And casinos will take every dime, everything from you. And I really don't respect the people that work at a casino. I know that, most people will say, yeah, but, they're just, they're doing their job. They have to make a living. And I get it. But you know what this is actually doing to people. You know that casinos stay in business for a reason, right? You see what I'm saying? What's up, Jared? With my dog. Salute, man. Been with me since day one, along with Terry Brown, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Both of y'all, man. Salute. But casinos, man, they stay in business for a reason. For a reason. They're not there to play fair. They're not there to allow you an opportunity to win your money. That's why they don't mind when you win big, because guess what? They know you're gonna come back. Now say you're an individual to where you come up with a strategy, right? And it's working, and you go in there and you hitting them 10,000, 15, 20,000, and you're doing it over and over and over and over again. Guess what they're gonna do? They're not gonna allow you to return back to the casino. See, they reserve the right to turn you down. They reserve the right to not allow you to come into the casino. So a casino's there for one and one reason only, is to take your money. So yeah, it's bad. It's bad. And I'd advise anybody, stay away. There's other forms of entertainment. Stay away from the casino. As soon as you win big one time, guess what? You feel like you can do it all the time. I won 20 G's on the crap table one time and thought, man, I never got to work again. Little did I know that a couple years later, I'd find myself in the state pen. Johnny, addicted to booze, as is a lot of people in Wisconsin, but no excuse. Glad you know what's happening. Absolutely, I know what's happening. Hey, and guess what, Johnny? Continue to strive to get better. Continue to strive to, find your higher power, whatever your higher power may be. Because a lot of times we can't do things on our own. We can't just stop doing things, even though we'll tell ourselves, you know what, man, I ain't never drinking again. I'm never smoking again. I'm never going to the boat again. Because when we're at our low of lows, that's how we genuinely feel. But the next day we wake up, it's right back at it. You see what I'm saying? Next couple of days or whatever. A lot of things we can't do on our own. So we got to rely on our higher power. Get around you some good people that are going in the same direction that you're going in. And you can beat that, man. So I come from a generation of, I'm the third. My granddad was a stone cold alcoholic. Worked for the gas company for 50 plus years. He was what you call a functioning alcoholic. Went to work, never missed work. Went to work, and they knew he was drunk. Went to work every day, and he lived to be, I don't know, he was in his 80s. And my dad, same way. Got to the point to where he rarely even ate. Wake up in the middle of the night, got to have the bottle by his bed. He's sipping throughout the night. When he wakes up in the morning, he's drinking. Drinking all day. I forgot what he used to drink. I'm not a big drinker myself. Tavarsky, I think that's what he used to drink. Tavarsky. I think it was Tavarsky. Had to have it. Kept a liter. And, one day, after a couple stints in the hospital, doctor just told him, hey, you continue to drink, man, your liver is you're messing your liver up, you're going to die. All those years, my dad stopped. No NA. Actually, AA. Got into church, Bible study, all of these things. And after all of those years, he stopped drinking and could not stand the smell of alcohol. So I tell you, Johnny, and anybody else that's dealing with alcoholism or addiction or man, you can do it, man. But you just have to want it. You have to pray, your higher power. I'm telling you, my dad, he's passed away now. He passed away in 19 because ultimately, over all the years, even though he had stopped drinking and he hadn't had a drink in 11 years, he had just done too much damage to his liver, to his body. But I was so proud of him, man. Man, stop drinking. And I never thought that he would stop drinking. All day long was drinking. That's all he did was drink. So you can do it, man. Anybody just dealing with some issues or whatever, man, we have to get in touch with our higher power. I'm not trying to get on here and preach or anything like that, but I tell you, man, keep trying, man. I see you say prayers aren't answered. Hey, keep praying, man. Keep praying and keep trying, man. Keep trying. I'm telling you, man, I don't know of many people that drank more than my dad. Like I said, I'm the third generation I'm the third. My granddad and my dad, both. And he just had enough. Sometimes, man, you got to hit rock bottom to understand, like, you know what? Enough is enough. And when he got out of the hospital, man, it took a couple stints. He had been in the hospital about 3 times. I'm not saying he went once, but when he got out that third time, he never touched liquor ever again. Never. Couldn't stand the smell of it, man. So I'm going to pray for you. Definitely glad that you chimed in. Definitely glad that's what I'm here for, man. My channel, man, is about uplifting people. I'm not here to be negative. I know I don't get a lot of views, a lot of people get, because guess what? I'm not really with the negativity. I'm not on here to bash anybody. I'm all about positivity, man. We all dealing with something in life. All of us. Every last person on this earth. I don't care if you got $10 million, $50 million in your bank account. Look at P. Diddy. You see what I'm saying? We all dealing with something, man. All of us. I'm going to pray for you, man. Definitely appreciate you, man. Jared says, they smoking fentanyl everywhere. I'm surrounded by fentanyl zombies here in Portland. You in Portland? Yeah, hey, I never been to Portland, but that's another thing. It's everywhere, man. It's fentanyl is killing people left and right, man. left and right. You know, man, it's crazy to think that somebody wants to get high so bad that they're willing to smoke anything, not even knowing what's in it. Because, you know, they're going to be told, nah, man, it's cool, it's straight. Man, ain't nothing in this, man, you good, man. And people's dying at an alarming rate, man. Celebrities are dying at alarming rates. People's getting high thinking they just sniffing cocaine. Man, it's fentanyl laced, man. I'm hearing now they putting the fentanyl in the weed. I'm just like, man, that's ridiculous, man. It's best not to do anything. But I understand it's easier said than done. Praying for the world, man. I'm praying for everybody that's going through something, man. Everybody, man. Let's see. It's the last question I'm going to answer for today. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to answer 2 more questions. Somebody asked me about the Hot Boys reunion. Do I think that there's going to be a Hot Boy reunion tour? Cash Money Records. It's obvious that they're not fooling with Turk. You know, I think there's definitely going to be a Hot Boys reunion tour because they've all said it. Lil Wayne has said it. BG has said it. Juvenile said it. Birdman has essentially said it. Manny Fresh has said it. Problem is, man, I just don't think they want to fool with Turk like that. I think Turk has burned so many bridges. They're not fooling with Turk like that. Now, I do think that Turk would ultimately be on the tour, but it's going to be awkward because I don't think that they're really, you know, it's kind of like, okay, you here, but you just here just because we don't need you, but we know the fans want to see all of us together. Y'all hit that like button for me. We know that the fans want to see all of us together, but we don't fool with you like that, Turk. I mean, think about it. Turk is just like he's burned so many bridges. He just keeps talking and talking and talking instead of just being like, shut up. If you want this money, if you want this bag that you all getting ready to get going on this tour, because out of all the people, I'm quite sure you need the money the most. Not to say that you're not already successful or whatever, but I'm just saying you probably need the money the most. We know Wayne is good. BG, all these guys are good. But nobody's mentioning you, Turk. You mentioning everybody else. But guess what? I understand because you have to keep your name relevant. You're not really relevant in the rap world no more. Now, you may have some other businesses and things going on, but as far as Wayne is relevant, Juvie still tours. Hell, Juvie was touring with No Limit last year. BG's hot because he just got out. Everybody wants to see him. Birdman is Birdman. Manny Fresh is Manny Fresh. He's making his beats. You the only one kind of on the outer loop of the circle. But you just keep doing all this talking about, man, me and Birdman, we can just get in the ring and put the boxing gloves on. Man, shut up. If you learn to just shut up, and I say that respectfully, if you learn to just not say anything, guess what? They're going to come swoop you up, man. Come on, man. Come on, get this money. But you just keep talking. You trying to force something that you have absolutely no control of. If BG don't want to talk to you right now, Turk, guess what? Leave him alone, man. He feels some type of way right now. Leave him alone. You know, leave the man alone, dog. Appreciate you chiming in, Terry, man. I'm about to get off here. I'm going to answer one more question, and I'm going to get off here. But talking about this, you know, Hot Boy reunion tour or whatever. You know, Turk, you just doing too much on these podcasts, dog. You have millions of dollars at stake here. Because if Cash Money, if they do the Hot Boy reunion tour, it's not going to be 20 or 30 cities. Nah, it's going to be like, it might go worldwide. There ain't no telling where they're going to go at. Before you went to prison, you was high all the time. You wasn't showing up to the video shoots. You wasn't showing up to concerts. You wasn't showing up to the studio half the time. Then you go to prison. Then I understand when you're in prison, you mad because ain't nobody really coming to your rescue, but you wasn't there for everybody else. Then when you get out, you come out bitter. You trying to sue Birdman. I understand you had to get your money. You talking about y'all wore fake jewelry. You had something to say about Wayne and BG and Juvie. So guess what? Ain't nobody really fooling with you right now, but they fooling with you because they're going to bring you on the tour. It's just my opinion. They're going to bring you on the tour. Appreciate that, Ashton. Ashton Wood, I definitely do, man. Y'all check my channel out because my notification's not going out, but I drop videos every day, every other day. So just check my channel out, you know, and you know, I got plenty of videos on there. Definitely salute to you. But Turk, if you just be quiet, man, you're going to be good. I'm telling you, man. I know you'll probably never see this video, and even if you did, you're not very receptive to any sort of criticism. Um, so hey, continue to do things the way that you want to do them, and see where that gets you. But I tell you, be humble, show some contrition, and just be quiet, bro. They're gonna get you, because even though they not really rocking with you like that, you just got to accept the fact they're not rocking. You can't force it. You can't keep talking about, oh, they my brothers, and when we see each other, no, they not even trying to see you, dog. But they know the fans want to see everybody together. Everybody wants to see the hot boys together. But if you're not on the tour, Turk, they still gonna sell them shows out. So you can say all day long, yeah, but it ain't the same without me. I'm part of the group. I made history with them. Yes, you are, and yes, you did. But it ain't gonna stop them from selling out, man. Show some contrition, as I mentioned. Learn to be quiet. Quit even talking about that. Quit DMing people. Quit trying to force it. They know where you at, man. Leave it alone. Last question of the day, man. I'm gonna get on out of here. But somebody asked me, how is it to start a YouTube channel? Is it very difficult? And what was your first YouTube check? Starting a YouTube channel is it depends. It's only as difficult as you make it. And the reason I say that is this. If you're in it for the money, it's difficult. You're not going to just start a YouTube channel and just make money. Now, some people do, don't get me wrong. But there's an exception to every rule in anything that you do in life. So, for me, just for me, I'll give you a brief, synopsis, if you will, of my channel. It took me about 8 months. In order to get monetized on YouTube, you have to have 1,000 subs, and you have to have 4,000 watched hours. Now, 4,000 watched hours means, and you have to do it in a 12-month period. 4,000 watched hours means that people have to watch your channel for 4,000 hours. Your longer content videos, not your shorts. That's something that I didn't know initially when I dove into it. So I was making a whole lot of short videos, thinking that it counted towards my watched hours, only to find out after a couple months of actually having my channel that it didn't. So I got to 1,000 subs. I don't know how fast. It probably took me, I don't know, 6 months maybe to get to 1,000 subs, maybe. And it took me 8 months to get to 4,000 watched hours. I drop videos on a regular basis. As I mentioned, the first couple months, I wasn't doing it correctly, so those short videos, they weren't counting towards anything. But it's one of those things that you learn. I've never edited not one video. Now, I'm learning to edit now. I've been working on my editing for a while. And to be honest, if I start to edit, I'll probably get more views and make my thumbnails better. But at first, my first year, I told myself, I just want to get my name out there as much as I possibly can. So I make short videos on a regular, and my long-term content, I need to make more, and I need to go live more. Because you want the people familiar with you. Like, people are genuinely, once they like you, they are genuinely interested in you. Like, man, how you doing, man? How things going for you? How are you? Like, people really want to know more about you. Don't get on here and ever lie. Never lie. Because if you blow up, people going to find out who you are. And once they find out who you are, he's not who he said he was. So I never lie. I tell people exactly what's going on in my life. So for me, I'm not going to necessarily say it's hard. But to get to the money, if you're doing it for money, it's hard. Me, I get on here to help people. I try to motivate people, especially the youngsters, anybody that'll listen. But I know the probability of people that are younger listening to me is higher opposed to someone that's, kind of up in age or older in life. And not to say that nobody ever listens, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. But I don't do this for money. I don't. Do I make money off YouTube? A little bit, but it's just nothing to write home with, but there's some people that do very, very, very well. Just imagine, once you get 100,000 subs, you probably making, I won't tell nobody's business, but you got 100,000 subs, 12, 15,000 a month. So, yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happened, but like I was saying, man, if you got 200, make heck, I don't know, 25,000 a month, 300,000 subs, 30,000 a month, so the more subs that you have and the more people that watch your videos, you really can't put a name or actual number on it, rather, because it just depends on how you post, how much you post. Now, to answer your question, my first YouTube check that I ever received was back in, I just got monetized in December. So my first YouTube check was like $165. Nothing major, you know. I don't really get a lot of views yet, you know, but again, I'm not in it for the money. I know that over time, you know, eventually that'll come. And, you know, as long as I can just help people and reach out to people, man, and we kind of, you know, we it's kind of like we counsel each other. You know, you all can help me, I can help you all. I get a lot out of, you know, coming on the YouTube, you know, talking to people. But that's all the questions for today, man. I definitely appreciate y'all chiming in. Sorry about the little I don't know what happened at the end. My phone just went blank. I don't know exactly what happened, but hey, sometimes it happens when you're going live. You see what I'm saying? Real Kenz TV, man. Hopefully you like the live. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Be sure to hit that post notification. Anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Again, I don't know why people are not receiving my notifications, because I'm definitely dropping videos every other day. Every day, someday I'm dropping videos. So if you haven't heard anything from Real Kenz, guess what? Say, you know what, man? Let me chime in. Let me go to Real Kenz TV 859 and just to see if he dropped anything new. Respectfully, man. Appreciate y'all joining me. TB, man, I get up with you, man. Johnny, Jared, Ashton, appreciate you all subscribing. Anybody else? Valiant, Thor, I believe that's the name. Captain Obvious, Bob Smith, just everybody that chimed in, man, showed me some support, because I know it's a Sunday afternoon. It's a beautiful afternoon. And Mr. Walker, you could be doing anything. Sensei X, you from Dragon, Hasay, Kenny, everybody. You know what I mean? Mad love, mad respect. Kentucky. You see what I'm saying? And I appreciate you.